What's going on, world? ES1 Ross back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Everybody that's gonna tune in. Um, been wanting to do this show for a long time. I definitely will be inviting people to the panel who would like to be on the panel that want to be a part of this discussion tonight. It's a discussion that I feel that definitely needs to be had. Um, this is a discussion I feel a lot of people try to stray away from also. So tonight here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV, we will be talking about the blame game. The blame game. Black men versus black women. Who wins? When we're going at each other, who wins? When we constantly can talk about who does who wrong the most. That's why I just played that song. Um, who lies more, who does this more, who does this less in relationships, in friendships. Who really wins at the end of the day? You know, this whole big thing that goes on in the black sector of YouTube with black men going against black women and black women going against black men. Who actually wins? Who comes out the victor? And like I said, this is something I want to talk about for a long time because a lot of us don't like to have the real conversation of what the blame game is and what it's really about, how it starts, and how it really ends. You know, earlier I did a stream about content creating or content creators, and a lot of the content that's put out on YouTube by black men who hate black women and black women who hate black men, it's all just content creating. And the people who support that are haters of that sex also. So all of the black men who like to be in those chats where they be going in on black women, talking about how much they hate black women and what's so wrong with black women and what black women do so much, and those men that be in there co-signing that stuff, they're really just black women haters also. And it goes for the women too. All of the women who create these quote unquote sisterhoods just to attack and show how much hate and animosity that they have towards black men. It's crazy, man. And I think it's all part of the blame game. It's all part of, you know, a game that's being played between us because we don't want to accept, we don't want to have personal responsibility and accountability for what happens to each other at the end of the day, you know? And I think it's time for the blame game to end because the blame game is what's creating the broken family. And when I say it's creating it, I'm saying that that's a result. That's the result. It leaves a child or a group of children without a father or without a mother. You see? And this is what the white supremacist system wants us to continue to do. They love when we play the blame game. They love when we get into these arguments over finances. So somebody could get put out the house. So the relationship between black men and women can always be tumultuous. Because then they know that they programming is working. As long as we're at odds, they win. And that's why I asked who win, because I believe none of us wins. The black man don't win when he put down a black woman, and the black woman don't win when she put down a black man. The system wins. That's who wins. And the ultimate losers are the children. Because then they grow up and become dysfunctional adults, and then the cycle continues. You see? The cycle continues. Then we have a whole new generation of dysfunctional adults who will perpetuate the same things that their parents perpetuated toward them. And then unity will never come to fruition. It will never come. Because as long as we playing the blame game, guess what we do? We keep ourselves separated. We keep our families broken. And we have a lot of broken people out here because we come from broken households. We saw and watched our parents not be able to, I'm going to say, functionally fix their issues or deal with them. We saw a lot of arguing. We saw a lot of fighting. We saw a lot of name calling. You know, we heard our mothers tell our fathers to get out. We heard our fathers call our mothers out their name. And this is all part of the dysfunction that we have today in the black family. And then we wonder why we cannot unify, because we got a bunch of broken people trying to build something. And then as soon as a situation arises, the first thing you'll see is a person's dysfunction when they trying to deal with a situation. You see? This is why I say we have to heal before we build. You see? Because we cannot unify if we're dysfunctional, and we were taught to function and broke and being broke. Our spirits being broke. We cannot build with other people if we haven't saw our parents functionally build. You see? Most of us that deal with dysfunction, it all started from when we were children. And it all came from what we went through and what we saw. So if we saw our parents playing the blame game every time it was an issue, oh, it was your fault. No, it was your fault. No, it was your fault. Why did you do this? You did this. It's because of you. Then you're going to grow up and you're going to show your kids some of the same things. And then they're going to replay that. Then they're going to show that. And it doesn't do nothing good for the family. And I'm not saying it's like every relationship is going to be perfect, because every child's going to see this. But you have to be willing to sit your children down and tell them that you are flawed. No matter how much you love your mom and your dad ain't perfect. And the things you see us go through, don't think that it's okay for you to go through it with the person you want to be with. Try your best not to show that in front of your children. So even when we're wrong, we should always use that as a lesson to teach our children. That's important. That's very, very important. See, a lot of us, we grew up in such harsh environments and harsh households that we have normalized the blame game because we've saw it throughout our entire family. So we don't know no other way to communicate in relationships. We don't know no other way. And then we don't understand that that contention that we have for one another. That's because you growing up and seeing black men and women play the blame game around you. So that's the first thing you reach for. When the first thing you should be reaching for is trying to figure out, what did you do to create this situation? Because it's not always the other person. A lot of times the other person is just responding to what you have done, or responding to something you've done, and they're interpreting it a certain way. So if you don't properly know how to troubleshoot problems, if the first thing you reach for to say is it's always your fault, that's poor communication, and that's going to create poor relationships. And that's not going to serve anybody in a good way, especially our children. You wonder why you hear these young girls saying the things they say about black men is because what they grew up around. They grew up hearing niggas ain't shit. They grew up hearing black men disrespect black women, treat black women a certain way. We all grew up, not all of us, but a lot of us have grew up and saw this dysfunction, and we've learned how to cope and deal with it and actually replay it out in our own lives. And a lot of us really don't realize that this is what's going on. You know, a lot of us don't really see it. That's the sad part. A lot of us don't see it. A lot of us don't understand how powerful this thing and how deep this thing runs. Because you could take this back years and years and years, man. If your mama saw your grandmother playing the blame game, then she plays the blame game. Then you play the blame game. Then your children play the blame game. Then their children play the blame game. Then it becomes a cultural thing. Then it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes something we grow up into. And this is what has happened to us. We grew up in blaming one another as black men and women. Oh, black people messed up because black women, because all black women want to do is wear weave and fake nails and makeup. This is the type of bullshit you hear on YouTube. So if you got a bunch of channels that's getting thousands and thousands of views with black men hating black women and spewing this type of rhetoric about them, imagine a young kid that's 15, 16 that's trying to get his first girl and he's listening to these wicked platforms. He's going to digest that information and walk around and spew that shit. Because what he's doing is he's applying other people's experiences or opinions on their experiences and thinking that that's going to happen to them. And then when he get his feelings hurt by a woman, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to run back to those platforms and say, yo, you was right. Black women ain't shit. Oh, you was right. You see? This is why this shit is dangerous, man. The blame game serves no good purpose for anyone. It's not good for any of us, man. It's very, very counterproductive. Very counterproductive. And it's going to stagnate us. It's going to continue to stagnate us. It's going to continue to destroy our youth. If the children are our future, then how are we getting them ready to deal with the world? The first thing they need to do is see their mother and father knowing how to deal with their own issues. Because if they can't see them work through their issues in a proper way, how they going to go out in the world and do that for themselves? We have to stop recreating the dysfunction. And the blame game is a dysfunction that we all need to get rid of. And I know it's hard because it almost seems natural to us. You see? But we have to remember that we create everything that's around us. We create our situations. So we have to know how to effectively create a better outcome. You see? And one of the first things that we can do is when you in a relationship, don't be afraid to show that you're flawed. Don't be afraid. A lot of us are afraid to show that certain things we're not good at, certain things we don't know how to do. You know, let your partner know that you are flawed in certain ways. Put it out there. Put it out there. Stop hiding it because it's going to come out in the argument. Your partner's going to see just how dysfunctional you are when y'all argue, when things go wrong and you don't know what to do. They're going to see it. You see? And that's why a lot of times we blame other people. We reach for that because a lot of things we're not we're not strong in. So the things we're not strong in, we like to go and blame other people instead of just you knowing that it's your fault. Like, damn, man, I just don't understand how this works. And instead of you saying that, you get mad. So don't be afraid to let a person know that, hey, I don't know how to do this. I don't understand this. I've never done this. You see? And that's a man issue. Part of being a man is still learning too. A lot of us that are men, we like to think we supposed to know everything in every situation. When that's not humanly possible. You see? A lot of us as men like to think that that's what being a man is. Oh, I'm supposed to know everything all the time. I'm always supposed to be right. I'm supposed to know how to do everything all the damn time. It don't work like that. And we have to be man enough to tell our women, hey, babe, I don't know. I don't know. Let's look this up together because I don't know what to do. You know? But that hurts the male ego. This is why we don't say it. You see what I'm saying? A woman is quicker to admit she's a virgin than a man. You know why? Because we were socialized and and taught that having sex makes you a man. So we're afraid to tell a woman, oh, I don't know how to do this sexually, or I've never done this. See, a woman is saying much quicker than a man. But how will it look for a man to say it? It will make us feel less of men. It'll make us it'll make us feel bad. Like, damn, I wonder what she think about me. I don't even know how to do such and such. You know? And to me, that's corny. Because a man is something you grow into being. And it don't come from age. And this is what I'm learning. Because you could be a 40-year-old kid. Being a man is a mentality. Just like being a woman is a mentality. It's how you think. It's how you respond to things, how you react to things. And the blame game is the game of children. That's what we need to understand. The blame game is the game that children play. I didn't do it. He did it. I didn't do it. She did it. That's the game that children play. What adults do is they sit down and they figure it out. You see? Because see, when you let the blame game run your relationship, black men and women, you know what tends to happen? You begin to develop hatred for each other. And see, that's what this system wants. It wants us to keep fueling our hate for one another so they can continue to profit off of it. You see? So we got to understand what this blame game is really about and what it perpetuates in the world for us. Because like I said, if you grew up watching the blame game being played, and then your children grow up and see it, and then their children grow up and see it, what do you think is going to happen over time? Over time, you're going to start having what you have now on YouTube with these black men telling young black men not to even deal with black women because all they want to do is argue. All they want to do is this. All they want to do is that. This is why you have these platforms on YouTube now and all over social media with them advising young black men to not even date black women. And you have platforms of black women doing the same shit. All because they didn't know how to properly deal with conflict resolution. You see? That's something else that playing the blame game creates. It teaches us not how to properly deal with conflict because what we actually doing is running from it. Instead of us dealing with it, we're running. Oh, well, I don't want to talk about it. I'll just sit here and say it's your fault. You see? This shit is deeper than what a lot of us think. A lot of our parents who got divorced, which helped break up the black family, was created from the blame game. That's how it was created. The blame game. When will the blame game stop? Because guess what? Our children need us. Our children want to see us in as a family. They don't want to see us separated because that does something to their psyche. I know because it happened to me. Watching my parents break up at 5 years old. I know what it done to me, and my parents wasn't even married. That's not something you want to put your kids through. And then you have to explain to them what really happened. And then a lot of times, due to anger and animosity that was built, now you have one parent telling the children, "Oh, it was daddy's fault we got a divorce." And then the father saying, "Oh, no, it was your mother's fault." So now the kid grow up and be conflicted. And that child may grow up and have angst against the opposite sex because of the blame game that their parents played. So now every time something go wrong in a relationship, they go and blame the opposite sex. You see? So we really need to understand what this really is about, man, and what this really creates. This shit is real, man, and it's hurting our children. It really is, man. It's hurting our children. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It's hurting our children, man. It hurts them. They are the true losers of this, man. And we need to understand that. If we really love our children, we'll tell our children the truth. And sometimes you even got to tell your children, Daddy ain't perfect. I tell my sons this. Daddy's not perfect. Daddy gets upset. Daddy does things the wrong way sometimes. Because your children look up to you as you're their first superheroes. At the end of the day, it's you. So sometimes your child may look at you and think you can do no wrong. And you could be flawed as a motherfucker. But your child don't think that because they don't understand yet what it is. They haven't experienced what you have experienced yet in life. This is why you have to be honest. This is why sometimes it's good for your children to see you in a flawed moment. But you have to use that moment as a teaching, as a lesson. Listen, dad overreacted. Dad shouldn't have been acting like that. I'm sorry, dad didn't have to raise his voice at this point. You can't let your kids grow up and make you and have them thinking you perfect when you know you ain't perfect because the first time they see you fuck up, they're going to hold that shit against you for the rest of your life. The first time something traumatic happens and you don't know what to do or you made a wrong choice, they're going to hold that shit against you forever. And that's what a lot of children do. Oh my God, you cheated on mom? That's why y'all got divorced? That's why you had to leave the house and leave me? Oh, I can never forgive you, Dad. Because they look at you as being perfect. You see? So you got to let your children know you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Does that mean that you're going to do what I just was talking about? No, that doesn't mean that. That's just an example. But see, those are the things that turn children away from their parents, especially after divorces. They want to know who who was the blame for y'all getting divorced? Who was the blame for the reason why now it's only one parent in the house, but when they was born, they always saw you around. But now they 10, 11, 12 years old and you going to be with somebody else. They want to know what happened. And a lot of times we lie to our children. We lie. The, the woman lie and the man lie. We both lie because we blame each other. We blame each other. We can't live like this. Can't live like this, man. We can't. See, we can't do business with each other if we don't know how to properly relate to one another. A lot of us on here that talk about black this, black that, what black people need to do. The first thing black people need to do is learn how to heal their relationships with their loved ones first. Heal your relationship with your mother. Heal your relationship with your father. Heal your relationship with your best friend who probably slept with your boyfriend when you was in high school. That's why you don't have female friends no more. Heal your relationship with your homeboy who probably stole something from you. That's why you don't trust other black men. Before you get up here and start talking about what we need to do together as black folks, you haven't even, you don't even know how to get along with your family. You don't even know how to properly communicate with your family. So what do you think is going to happen the first time you run into an issue with that business partner that's not in your family? What's going to happen is you're going to have flashbacks of what you've been through, and you're going to respond the way you responded back then to your family. You're going to deal with it in a dysfunctional manner. And this is the problem. This is the real problem. We cannot build until we heal. We're going to always have issues. There are going to always be things that come up. We're going to have disagreements. That's natural. But we're not talking about disagreements. You see? So who wins the blame game? In my opinion, no one. You know who wins? The system that we all talk about is against us. That's who wins. Because then when you go get a divorce, they win. When you break up and you gotta go and put the father on child support, they win. When your children grow up in a single parent household, they win. They win. See? See why the blame game doesn't work for us? That's why it doesn't. And it never will. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the link in the chat. This for anybody who want to get on and talk about this. Men and women, it doesn't matter. There's the link. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Very much appreciated. The link is in the chat. But the blame game has to go. Has to go. See, I wonder the people who were married 50, 60, 70 years. I wonder if the blame game is what kept them together, or did they look past that? Because I don't see myself being with somebody for the rest of my life playing the blame game. I'm gonna get tired of that. Let's just figure out how we gonna make this shit work for us. Let's focus on that. Because if I'm gonna be together with if I'm gonna be with a woman forever, the blame game gotta go. We need to figure out what we gonna do to make it right and to keep this shit moving. Or else it's gonna come to an end at some point. And we just gotta understand that. Shout out to my brother Chef JT. What's up, bro? You there, bro?
I'm sorry, mute my mic by mistake. I'm just saying it's an excellent stream, and I'm just saying to us as a man, we got to be honest with ourselves at times. We don't know, and it's all about at the end of the day. If you're not honest with yourself, what makes you think you'll be honest with a woman? And it goes vice versa too. And and we have to understand that each of us, as black men, but we have got hurt, and we had to deal with our hurt. We had to deal with our hurts um first before we thinking about get involved. I know for me personally, I have to be that, and I have to understand that there are people that had hurt me, or vice versa. I had to come to terms with that and have the healthy relationship no matter what it is. Like you always say, heal before we build. And I always say, always advocate for yourself. And part of advocate yourself, you have to be hard critic yourself. You have to understand that you make mistakes. And when you understand when you make mistakes, you be on your way. Is it going to be rocky? It's going to be hard? Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, it's not good to bring your hurt to somebody else that had nothing to do with it. It's not fair. So that's my take on it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I did a show a little while ago too, talking about trauma. And we have to this is what playing a blame game is also a result of us dealing with, trauma. You know, if you grow up in your house and all you knew your whole life up until you was a certain age that your family was intact, your household was intact, and then for you to just watch that shit crumble and you don't understand why and nobody's giving you any answers, that can be a traumatic situation. And what we have to understand is that when we internalize trauma and don't address it, we begin to place it and it begin to manifest in our life. You see? And it pops up and it reappears in our own relationships. So if you found out that your father cheated on your mother and that's why the marriage ended, a young girl may grow up and think all men ain't shit now. because of what her father did. She may grow up and have an angst towards men just because of that, just because of what she saw her father do to her mother. When she don't understand that, that's an isolated situation. All men are not like that. But if she's not spoken to and told the truth and told how to deal with certain things from young, she's going to internalize it the wrong way and it's going to constantly reappear. You see? So we have to understand how, how deep trauma goes too, man. And you have to address your traumas. You have to face it because people are afraid to address traumatic things that happen to them. Go ahead, bro.
No, that's true. It's so true, and that's the problem right there. We scared to deal with our trauma right here, right then and there. And instead of like we just think of the moment, now I can't deal with that because it's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's supposed to hurt. You're supposed to go through the hurt so you can relieve from the hurt. And when you relieve from the hurt, your mental and your foresight and everything that's within you in your life will get better. But you have to make it happen. You have to understand that trauma. You have to understand at that moment it is real. This ain't no fairy tale. This ain't nothing because we like to go in the corner. I just wanted to pass. I just wanted to pass. No, you can't. Deal with it. The quicker you deal with it, the better you will be in the future. You will feel great about yourself. You see things more better perspective. You had a greater purpose in your life. Wherever anything, any obstacle that you meet, you actually say, okay, I met through that trauma. I know I could deal with that constructively. Life is all about, to me, life is all about changes. Are you willing to adapt with the change for the better? Or you want to go backwards? I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. So I had to keep on, keep it on, and keep it on. And it's not easy. But I always say to myself, it is a bigger picture that I want us to see. There is a greater purpose in my life that I have to be in. I had to be an example for myself first and let it manifest it through whatever endeavors that I be into in the future. But you have to deal with the trauma first to have greater results in your life. Back at you, brother.
Most definitely. Most definitely. For sure, for sure. Because we got to understand that once we address the trauma and deal with it, and I'm gonna just say this too, and I always say this: healing is not an event; it's a process. So don't think when we're saying this, family, that we think that this can change overnight. No, this is a process. It's a process. It's not something that's gonna just happen once you feel you have addressed it. Once you feel you've talked about it. It's a process, man. So understand that too. It's not gonna change overnight. It's gonna take time. But are you willing to work at it? Are you willing to sacrifice the little things for the bigger picture? And see, the little things is the blame game. Are you willing to put the blame game aside to address the real issue?
Mhm.
Because the real issues could be your insecurities, which come from trauma. Can you address that before saying that it's somebody else's fault?
Mhm.
You see? And this is what we have to begin to think this way. And I know it's going to take time because a lot of us are afraid because the things how powerful trauma is, man, when you absorb it, you begin to be afraid to address it. You begin to be afraid to conquer those fears. It turns into fear. Oh, well, this relationship not going to work because he's going to do something wrong. So because somebody do something wrong and they're not perfect, does that mean that that's not a relationship you should be in? No, it doesn't mean that. But a lot of people become afraid when things happen to them in relationships because they don't want to relive what happened again and again. But you know how you don't relive it again? You address it. You talk about it.
Mhm.
You talk about it. You recognize it when it comes up and you speak on it.
Mhm.
You don't run from it. Because the longer you run from it, it's gonna always exist. You see? It's like growing up and being afraid of the boogeyman. A lot of us that are still grown, still afraid of the boogeyman. And the boogeyman could be anything. You see? So this is why you hear, you know, these black men saying, "Oh, these all these black women want to do is wear weave. All they want to do is be single mothers." You hear that type of dumb shit because they're afraid to actually deal with the bullshit that they got going within themselves
Mhm.
that they don't want to talk about. You see, they don't want to talk about how a woman with weave hurt their feelings and didn't want to dance with them at a party. So now they hate women that wear weave because they got their goddamn feelings hurt.
Mhm.
You know, oh, all black men are dogs. All they do is cheat on women. Why? Because you fell in love with a nigga who cheated on you. Why? Because you had a baby by a nigga who treated you like shit and all he did was cheat on you and fuck all your friends. So now all niggas ain't shit? Cause you was in love with that scumbag. So now all niggas ain't shit. He hurt you that bad,
Mhm.
but they don't want to admit that. They want to act like it's all good. Well, that nigga wasn't shit, girl. I'm over him. But then you go meet a nigga the next week and he do the same shit to you. Because you being that you haven't addressed the issue, now you can't even see that you picking fucked up niggas. You
Mhm.
can't even see it because you're running from it.
Mhm.
You're running from it. And it's the same thing with men.
Mhm.
Same thing. You know? It's the
Yeah.
same shit. We don't want superficial women, but we superficial niggas.
Mhm.
My woman gotta look like this. My woman gotta look like that. Well, nigga, then you better have a six-figure bank account. You want to be superficial, you gonna have a superficial ass woman. But we want a woman that's gonna ride for us and be loyal to us. But we want these high class, dime ass women who requires superficial bullshit to maintain her superficial image. But then we like to say, oh, these black women, they be high maintenance. You gotta spend $200 on their weed. Nigga, you want a dime piece. A lot of these dime ass women ain't running around with their hair in their head. They ain't running around with $15 hair pieces, nigga. So you get what you are. You can't run around and blame people. You get what you are. And we gotta understand that, man.
Yeah. And go more your point, brother, that especially I'm talking to black men. I wouldn't go for a black woman too. We fail to realize that we repeat in this vicious cycle, and we wonder why our life is upside down. You making choices time and time again. Like I always say, you always say this. Stop saying it's a them problem. It's a you problem. Stop you picking. I tell women, if you're picking brothers that are assholes, they are assholes. Man, if you're picking women that are superficial, who have a hole in their head, they don't have no substance, that is a you problem. Cut it out. If you want a person that has standards, that has substance, that means first thing foremost, God damn it, change your goddamn self first. Like you all like to say, stop playing the goddamn blame game. But if you want to play this game, this is what you see is what you goddamn get. And you want to float around like oh, I'm the best shit in the world. But deep down inside, your life is in crumbles. And you fail to understand that this is a vicious cycle you keep on repeating. You keep on repeating until there is a goddamn stop. You want to go in the goddamn corner and crumble up, and you want people to feel sorry for you. No, I don't feel sorry for people. People continue repeat this pattern. You don't want to help yourself. You don't want to repent. You don't want to go through the process. You don't want to do whatever. You don't even want to do whatever it takes to get up the next day, say, listen, look in the mirror. I'm going to change because I'm tired of being this. I'm talking like this, family, because I have to goddamn do it. You're going to have sleepless nights. Your day is not going to go right. But it is okay. You just stay the goddamn course and just say to yourself, I'm going to get better. I'm going to surround it by like-minded people that go constructively going to say, you need to do this and that. But it got to start from you. It's like you get on the train. You're going to get off the stop that you need to. You're not going to get off the stop that you don't have to. Make better goddamn choices. And your life will get better. Not in your time, but in due time. Stay the course. Stay the course. Stay the course. Yeah, you're going to get down. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's part of the process. You ain't going to be on a straight road all the time, but get back up and stay the course. Stop thinking it's going to be in the moment. It's gonna be in the moment. It's gonna be the no. Stay in the course. It's gonna be a bigger picture. You're gonna feel good. Do you want to feel good in your life? Do you want abundance in your life? Do you want to transform your life for the better? See, I'm asking questions like this, brother, and towards the family, because I had to ask those questions for myself. Stop. We got to learn to stop putting ourselves in vicious cycles, and we want people to feel sorry for us. Especially you keep on doing it. You keep on doing time and time and time again. And you're just wasting your life away, brothers and sisters. And all you can have to blame is yourself. And also through the process too, not everybody is not going to be on your side when you change for the better. So those are the ones you let go. That is part of the process too. You got to lighten the load to get better. Why are you going to take on a certain load that never give a damn about you in the past anyway? That's part also the vicious cycle, because you want to take on dead weight. Motherfuckers don't give a damn about you. They just want to use you for they twisted purpose so they can get over, because they don't want to go through what they have to go through, they insecurities. It's going to take time, family, but trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It's going to get better. But we had to take some necessary steps. We had to make better choices. Instead of keep on making rational choices, we had to make mature choices, and we had to take our time to sort things out. Think it out. Also, you have to do this, family, especially, is this going to outweigh the bad? You got to do that, family. That's why our relationships is not working. That's why our community is in disarray right now, because we are not thinking. We cannot think rationally no more. It's not working for us. We have to be strong, constructive thinkers. Let me say it again. We have to become strong, constructive thinkers. Thank you, brother.
I agree. The rational thinking, the erratic thinking has to go because it's not working for us. It's not working for us. And out of that, you know, irrational thinking comes the blame game. Because that's like a quick fix to a problem. We're thinking in our dysfunctional thinking. We think that's gonna fix the problem easy. Well, I'm gonna just say it's their fault, you know, and that leads to nothing. It leads to nothing, man. If we really want to be happy, we have to do things that's gonna make us happy, and the things that really is gonna make us happy and is gonna make our life change for the better. It's not gonna be easy. It's not the easy shit. See, a lot of people think being happy is something that's easy. And a lot of people think that other people can make us happy. No, being happy is an individual thing, meaning you have to make the choice to want to be happy. You see? Nobody can make you be happy. You could be in the type of relationship you always wanted to be in. But if you always finding a reason to find something wrong, your ass will never be happy. And there's a lot of people like that because them people don't want to be happy. You have to want to be happy. You have to want to be. And nobody can make you happy but yourself because happiness comes from within. It comes from within. You could be with the man or the woman of your dreams and be miserable as fuck. Be miserable as hell. Be depressed as hell. That's why you can't be with somebody and then think that now you don't have to work on yourself. You have to always work on yourself. Working on yourself is not being selfish. Because as long as you making yourself better, you have the other person you with has much more access to you. You see? They have more access to you emotionally, mentally. They could gain more from you. But if you're not constantly working on you to better you, then what could somebody feed off of that you in a relationship with? What do you really have to offer? See? And then that's when we begin to lean on the physical things, sex, money, gifts. Then that's when we lean on people for those things. When those are just cover-ups to make us look happy. But most of the people in the world that got the most money are the most unhappy. All the celebrities that commit suicide, that are alcoholics, that are addicted to drugs, they rich. They got everything that a lot of us want to have. They have it, but they don't have happiness. They're not content with their life. They're not happy with who's in their life and the people that's around them. They live around toxic people. They be around toxic people every day. They have toxic conversations. They are a walking dysfunction. And this is what a lot of us is as Black people. We are living dysfunction. We live in dysfunction. We operate out of dysfunction. And then we wonder why we can't get it together because we fucking dysfunctional. And we don't just want to admit that. We don't want to admit it. See? We're afraid to say, I'm an insecure person. Because if you was to say that, then that will prove that there's some things you need to work on within yourself. Nobody can make you insecure. You're insecure. Within. You're insecure. Nobody can make you insecure. You're already insecure. But what do you hear most people say? You make me insecure. How the hell somebody make you insecure? What somebody can do is make you not trust them, but that don't make you insecure because of that. You insecure on your own. And you got to work on yourself. And we all do. All of us. This is not a point your finger type of discussion. This is not to point out what's wrong with people. You need to figure out what's wrong with you and what you need to do to make it right for you. And this is the solution for tonight. The solution is to stop playing the blame game. We all have to hold ourselves accountable and responsible for what happens. Nobody can make you feel no way because a lot of time we already felt that way. And you probably felt that way in every relationship you've been in. And if you have, then that's your problem. It's no one else's problem. It's yours. So stop deflecting, stop projecting your issues on other people and deal with them. And because we got to stop walking and living in this dysfunction, because we got children watching us and they're going to pick up them habits. Trust and believe. They're going to pick up those habits. They're going to. They're going to pick up them habits. And then the cycle keeps going and going and going. These are the mental change that we need to break. A lot of us like to talk about the mental change of slavery, but what are we really slaves to? We're not just slaves to this system. We're slaves to our own condition. We're slaves to trauma. We're slaves to fear. We're slaves to that. That's why we're stagnated as a people. Because we don't want to look trauma in his face. We don't want to look fear in his eyes. So you want to touch on anything else, bro?
Only I can say is this, that if we want to change, it's got to come from us. It's got to come from you. It's got to come from me. Before we want to have to repair the relationship of any level. And I understand that it doesn't stop there. It's an ongoing process. Even like if you get better, it's an ongoing process. And you got to keep on if you still want to stay on that path of do what's right. I want to thank you, the rest of the family that's listening. And I appreciate that. And this is on time stream as usual. Thanks again, bro. Appreciate that.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my brother, Chef JT. Make sure you go subscribe to him at the Underrated Darkness. Let me see who's in the chat. I'm gonna shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out to my brother Gab Talk Media. Appreciate the love and the support. Shout out to Grateful and Blessed. Appreciate the love and the support. Chef JT, as always. Shout out to my sister Black Beauty, always showing love and support. Shout out to my brother Black Worlds on the check-in. Day one supporter. We appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Big L on the check-in. Thanks for the love and the support. Shout out to my family, Hill Zen, on the check-in. Always supporting the family. We appreciate that. Shout out to everybody, man, that's tuning in. Everybody who came through and listened and hit the like button. It's very much appreciated. Like I said, this is a show I wanted to do for a while, man. I'm gonna definitely try to do a part two. I'm gonna definitely try to do a part two to this because I definitely, you know, wanted some more people to get on and chime in. So I'll probably be doing a part two to this, where we can have an open panel discussion about this. Because this is something that we really need to talk about, man. You know, it's taboo for us to talk about stuff like this, but we need to talk about it. We need to have those talks, man. Because if we don't, we're gonna continue to perpetuate the same BS. So I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. This is your host, DS1 Ross. I appreciate everybody. Remember, y'all, we gotta heal before we build. We gotta heal before we build, man. We have to. And playing the blame game is another result of us not healing, of us not addressing the real issues, the issues within. So remember, y'all, we got to heal before we build. Because if we build before we heal, we're going to keep destroying the things that we really want. If we really want solid relationships, dealing with one another on all levels, we got to get rid of the blame game. We got to. So I appreciate y'all time and support here for Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I'm your host, DS1 Ross. I'll be back tomorrow, y'all, with another one. Y'all have a great night. Peace.